Hello and welcome. Today I thought I would do a read on love because we have quite a lot of confusion in the planets at the moment. And I thought we're Venus retrograde as I record this, but it doesn't matter when you watch it. But we've got Mercury's retrograde conjunct Venus retrograde. So that's a massive energy. So you might be having so I'm going to do a love read, but you might have problems in communication. And I noticed that I've got quite a lot of flutteriness about talking, which is weird. And then we've got the big player in the sky at the moment is Neptune. Neptune is at the 29th degree of its ruling house. You see, um, of that it rules the 12th house, which is the house of secrets, hidden enemies, subconscious mind, all the things that society hides, like sort of prisons and mental institutions or asylums. So it's that kind of very forbidden, uh, not forbidden, kind of pushed away secrets. Yes, it can also rule sort of addiction and things like that. So there's a very kind of hazy, the media, lies, all that kind of thing. Um, I love Neptune. Neptune is a big hitter in my chart. I've got Pisces mean, and we're in Pisces season. So again, this last push, it's at the degree of fame or the degree of destiny or the degree of fate. I think it's called. Anyway, so I've pulled three cards. I've pulled the three planetary cards that we've got big in the sky at the moment. So I'm going to, those will be the three piles. I'll put them on the screen, but pile one will be Venus. This is the Krans Oracle deck, which I love, which I use all the time, so you might well recognize it. Then we've got pile two is Mercury, and pile three is Neptune. However, before I start, I just wanted to say a little something about smells because I always seem to get a lot of smells when or of late, get a lot of smells coming through. So, the first one was when I was doing my saging. Oh my God, the chaos reigns. I haven't even started. Um, the other day I was saging during a reading and it smelled incredibly like fresh and light and spring-like. Today it smelled very medicinal and heavy and it wasn't so nice. But then I was like, okay, well, what smell would I like to what feels right to bring in? This is for Venus. And I've got a saffron one. It's actually I don't know the name of the company. I can't pronounce it. It's Chababasa. Sorry, I'm not. Yeah. So that's the one, and it's really good quality incense. It's really lovely. Um, but it smells quite. Yeah, it smells like saffron. I don't know what saffron smells like, but that one smells really, really good. It's kind of a vanilla-y. I mean, vanilla's the wrong, an ambery base, but it's really nice. But then I've also got a really strong draw to bergamot. I've got my bergamot oil here and I keep wanting to sniff it. So even though I really fancy or Venus quite likes that, she's asked for that. The bergamot, so it's like layers and layers of scent. Um, which is interesting. So it's like I'm wanting these very, which I suppose is what we've got going on in the planets. We've got Venus's lovely kind of ambery scent, and then we've got the kind of the confusion with the planets with the kind of the medicinal scent. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there if it's relevant, but I like to add scents because they've been coming up so strongly of late. So again, yes, pile one is Venus, pile two is Mercury, pile three is Neptune. Player, choose your pile. See there. Right, Venus, I have shuffled the deck. What would we like Venus to say to us? She just wants me to pull the cards. She doesn't have anything specific to say. Um, I have a double Venus rulership, so I quite like a bit of Venus. Um, Normally we get on quite well. So, well, oh God, I've just boxed the cards. Stop, oh, stop. Mercury retrograde. I hear you, I hear you. If you do not box the cards, it means where you shuffle them the wrong way around. So yeah, there's a lot of chaos, as you can tell. I mean, I'm always quite chaotic, but no, not always actually. but I'm feeling very chaotic. I'm feeling very Mercury retrograde full. Yeah, you see that card. Okay, so vinegar, that came out reverse. That came out the other day in a pile. Oh, something else I'll tell you. I'm being so ADD. This card, I've just noticed it. I haven't shuffled it in. Synchronicity. I don't know why, but I've just noticed it's there. Um, it was out of the deck and I found it in my sitting room. And I was like, oh, I'll put that back in the deck. And then I kept finding it different places. So I don't know whether I was like kind of if somebody else had been here at the moment, I would have assumed that they were hiding it. But it literally must be me going, oh, just put that back in the deck in a minute. But since I've had this deck out, it seems weird that I'm not saying something spooky is going on. Oh my goodness, I'm not making any sense. Okay, right, carry on. Shuffle. Please, may I have three cards? Kim Krans, Alchemy deck. Please, may I have three? Oh, we've got two. Okay, we've got the Sun Splendor. Please, may I have one more card for Venus? What would Venus like to tell us? No, nothing came out. I've got so little room to put the cards. That's why I haven't done it from over the top. So I'm kind of squeezing them into a little tiny space here. One more card, please, Venus. Oh, no, that's a few. Sorry. One more card, please, Venus. What would you like to talk to us about? Love. Love, Venus. What would you like to tell us about love? It's really sticky. The energy is so sticky. I don't think it's the energy in the cards. I think it's the energy. I have saged. It feels like I just had, it's a sticky day. So it's a sticky day, obviously. One more card, please, Venus. Oh, God. I feel like it's that one. I don't know. It was sticking out. I'll take it. Um, Once one more. Okay, so this is the red and white rose. So that's card three. Actually, no, I'll use bottom of deck. Bottom of deck is fog. No surprise there, right? It means everything's in a fog. Well, I think we can tell that. Okay, Venus. We have vinegar. Vinegar in reverse. This deck doesn't do reversals, but vinegar, the sun splendor, and the red and white rose. Let's see. Okay, I've got some things coming through, but let's ask Venus what she would like to say. What would you like to say about these cards, please, Venus? Okay, she says, which is true, but I don't think she's talking about the weather. She said, it's a sunny day. So what comes through about that is whatever you're asking about in love, there's a nice energy, or there's a nice energy. It's saying that there's love there. I feel like the reason you're asking about this is coming. I've suddenly felt anxious. What is that? Okay, so you might have hit a little hiccup. Um, yeah, there's something that you're anxious about. Well, obviously you've come to a reading to ask about something. So let's have a look. Yeah, overall, it's a really nice energy. It's a really sunny energy. It says promising, but there's a real tangle in my heart, and my throat. So it's like you want to say something, but you're anxious to say it. You're worried. I'm going to pull some clarifiers in a minute because I feel like it's saying swords, but because I'm not using a tarot deck, I can't see if there's any swords. It's saying swords. Um, okay, this is interesting. If you look at the the Venus sign, it's saying Venus can be a sword, which is coming through in two ways. So in one way, well, three things. Love hurts. Also, the symbol of Venus, if you look there, it's got that. It could be like a dagger, so you can get stabbed in the heart. But equally, people think Venus is all like love and light. But the other side of that, there's my favorite poem, one of my favorite poems is the Khalil Gibran on love poem, which is really stunning. So have a look. I'll put a few words on the screen if I get round to it. Um, No, I won't. I'll tell you why, because I don't know, I won't go into boring technical stuff, but I don't know how to do that, so I won't. But yes, there's one that says, though he shall crown you, so he shall crucify you. This is love itself. Um, yes, so there's a line in there about it stabbing you, though I'm not going to try and remember it now. Just move on, Louise. My other readings are so long and rambling. It's like just cut to the quick, okay? So that's what I'm trying to do. I've just noticed in this, it looks like a hand holding a cacao bean, and so rose cacao is coming through, and this has been coming through a lot. Actually, I'm really fancying some rose tea now. But I've been getting through recently cacao ceremonies. I have cacao ceremonies. I love them. I love them. I love them. So cacao beans, but cacao with rose particularly. Somebody said, "Oh, do you just put rose oil straight in?" No, no, no. You don't put rose oil anywhere near anything you eat. You can use rose essence for the cooking stuff, but brew up a tea and then add, like when you're making your cacao. Maybe I'll do a post on that. Yeah, anyway, I'm not going to go into that. Rambling. Mercury retrograde. Yes, so I'm feeling like a stab. So maybe you found out words, obviously with Mercury retrograde. Maybe you found something out that has been painful, stabbed you in the heart where you thought everything was sort of sunny and rosy and beautiful, which yes, now it's coming to vinegar. There's a sour taste in your mouth. Something you've found out, something you've heard. It wants vinegar, sorry, not Venus wants to talk to me again. She's saying, okay, let me hear. I got this in a read the other day, so I hope I'm not repeating myself. She said there's been a sour a betrayal. It's like a sour taste, but there's something else. Something about poison, something poisonous. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting something third party, but it's not a full third party. I feel like I'm seeing another woman or female energy. It might not be a woman, but a female. No, it's not really female. It's a kind of uh a cat-like energy, but it's not a cat, it's a human being. But like a cat-like energy. So there's a kind of, okay, what it's showing me is a cat with snake's fangs. So it's like this sneaky, I mean, cats are great, but they can be a bit tricksy, can't they? So there's a cat energy. So I feel like the cat energy is saying, no, showing it, Venus is showing me this cat-like energy, this feline kind of sexy. It is sexy. It's sexy, man. But it has snake's fangs, which is even sexier. Oh no. But it's also, it's saying foxy lady, but foxy as in, oh my goodness, there's so many things coming in all at once. It's so rude. It's not rude at all, but it feels rude. It feels like, I don't know, can cats get the mange? So it says, because I said it was sexy, and Venus is saying Venus is quite elegant. She's quite, I mean, obviously she's the goddess of love, so you would think so. But it's like this energy, because I was like, oh, cats are quite sexy. She's like, yeah, but this one is a bit mangy, and it's showing me like a fox with the actual mange. It's not pretty. If you've ever seen a fox with a mange, it ain't pretty. So whichever this energy, I shouldn't say this, but if somebody's after your person, whoever you think it is, you kind of like to think of them as a bit mangy. So wrong, this reading. Oh my goodness, it's so wrong. This is just, it's not me, it's Venus. It's what Venus is saying. So Venus is saying, she's such a boss. She's like, yeah, well, sometimes I love Venus. Oh, you're my goddess, man. Ah, Venus. Rejoice, rejoice. Um, yeah, she's basically She's saying it's not harsh to think somebody's mangy. It's harsh. It's harsh. Anyway, back to the story. So I'm feeling this energy, a female energy that's got cat-like. So it's kind of cat fox energy, but so it is cunning. It's very cunning. It's very feline. It does have the mange, but not obviously. Not obviously, but it's got these snake fangs. So there's this very sexy, manipulative, cunning. It's trying to be nonchalant, this energy, but it's not really. It's got all the power to be nonchalant, but it can't pull it off because of this mange. I'm sorry, it's okay. Thank you, Venus. I love the way you're bringing this through. I hope this is making sense. So, yeah, so this is weird, I'm going to tell you. So there's a lamppost, and I think that's the male energy. The lamppost is standing there, very kind of immovable, but I think it just means upright. And I please don't, this is sounding so wrong. Venus, she's just sexy. She can't help it. Anyway, so there's this lamppost there, which is the male energy. I'm seeing a kind of a James Dean kind of leaning up against it, but that's not relevant. It's just the male energy is the lamppost, but there's a kind of a James Dean, slightly wounded but attractive, like this kind of drawing in energy. And the male energy is quite nonchalant, but nonchalant because it's not trying. It's that kind of cool, that kind of James Dean energy, this kind of cool. Although I'm with the lamppost, it keeps saying it's very upright. It's very upright. So I think that's meaning like a kind of, I really want to pull a tarot, but I'm trying not to. I'm trying to just do these cards. I'll do a tarot if I need to, but I'm wanting to see if it's swords or so fire energy. What is it? Just eyeing my deck there. Um, okay. Now I've got itchy feet. What does that mean? It means agitation. Okay. So you are looking at this situation. I mean, we're talking energetically or maybe visually, but and you're agitated. Or maybe you're agitated with me. I don't know. But it's like you want it to move on. You want to know what's going on. You want some solutions, or you want to know what to do with this cat. I was going to say mangy cat, but that's not the right phrasing. This is she a threat? Not obviously, because you are seeing this male energy as being wary. Like he's no fool. He's not just buying this. But I think you don't know what he's thinking because I've literally got this thing kind of that keeps brushing against my feet. It's not a cat. Oh, maybe it is. It's not my cat. Anyway, that's an aside. Somebody told me I had a cat spirit in here. So if it's brushing against my feet, I feel like I'm going mental. I blame the planets. Right. So back to the energy. Yeah. So actually I was gonna say he's smoking and there is incense wafting across here. And I had someone say to me the other day, are you smoking? It's like, no. As if I was gonna be having a client with a sly fag down here. Not a tarot client, but yes. Anyway, back to the Venus. Okay, now this is quite funny. I feel this is when I say your energy, I mean the person that's asking the question, very anxious about this situation, very you're wanting to do something, but you know there's nothing that can be done because you have to watch, you have to see, you can't go rushing and go, oh, what are you doing? Because nothing's happening. Like you're watching this and it's making you feel really anxious, but it's not appropriate to rush in there and kind of try to stake your territory because that would look A, mental and B, aggressive or inappropriate, I think. But also you want to see, or if you don't want to, Venus is saying it's a good idea um to watch what's going on because it's the James Dean energy is not really responding, but he is watching, and I think he's watching with curiosity. Uh, it says curiosity killed the cat, and I've called channel Cheshire Cat. I'm not into cats, I'm sorry to say. I know everybody loves cats. They are the most liked thing on social media, apparently. But they're not my favorite. I'm a dog person. But I digress. Why do I digress? Because I'm anxious, because I'm trying to hold myself back from, or you, the energy is saying, you're trying to hold yourself back from, yeah, rushing forward to say, what are you doing to this cat energy? But you know, if you did that, that the cat energy would be like, what are you doing? It would have you where it wants you. So, we haven't even gotten to the meat of the read, but what else would you like to say, Venus? She's saying there's a dog barking. I don't know if you can hear that. I've got the window open. Um, she's saying she's saying you don't need to worry, but I can feel that you're worrying. Maybe you're not, but she's saying you don't need to worry. You just need to. She's got such great energy, Venus. She's like, you don't need to worry. You'll be fine. Just okay. So she's saying stand in your power. So you need to counter this energy by being Venusian. And at the moment, you're more in a kind of Mars energy. You're not embodying your Venus. You're not embodying your like Venus wouldn't. I mean, she secretly would. Sorry, I think you would. I think you would. Um, I was going to say she wouldn't feel jealous. I know you feel jealous. I know you get jealous. Not all the time. I know you're the hottest babe on the block, but I'm not. I'm allowed to mess with Venus, I think. Yeah. I'm gonna get struck by lightning now. Oh God. It's not her style. Just get a massive spot. I've actually got a massive spot. Oh, please stop, please, please stop. Okay. Um, yeah. So she's saying you've got to stop doing what I'm doing and fretting and being anxious and um worrying. And you need to be still. You need to draw your energy back because you want to counter her energy. I'm getting Art of War. I haven't read it, but she's saying Art of War, draw back and you don't need to remove yourself, but there's a lot of power in not saying anything, and there's a lot of power in detaching. And your silence will be louder than her. I mean, the whole thing's happening in complete silence, which is interesting, which is probably why I'm talking so much because I'm kind of wanting to fill the void because there's, like a tense situation where nobody's speaking is difficult, although I'm speaking. But anyway, yeah, so she's saying draw back, draw your energy into your heart space and your solar plexus. So she's saying draw your energy in and put your feet on the ground, your shoulders back, and she's saying smile, but you don't need to really smile. She's kind of smile as if you know something. Maybe you do know something. No, she's saying you don't. But smile as if you know something. And smile as if you're watching it like, oh dear. Not in a condescending way, but just in a kind of, well, I suppose it's more like I know what you're up to. But I think it's more to think it's not to actually dismiss that energy as being powerful. I think you need to respect that energy, the cat energy or the feline energy, because it's not to be trifled with. And cats have a vicious scratch and it has a poisonous snake venom. It's not poison, it's venomous. So you do need to be wary. So you don't want to laugh at it, but if you pull your energy back and observe from a place of perceived power. So she's saying, Venus is saying, own your space, own your position in space, as in, obviously watch and don't watch from a hidden vantage point, like openly own your space, but make it known that you're watching and you're not partaking, you're not participating, you're observing. So be the observer. Anything else? I'm getting to the cards, but I just want to see if there's anything else. She's showing me this, although that's the third card, but why is she showing me? So it's the red and white rose, which is about a marriage. It's about a marriage of elements. So in alchemy, I'm going to do a separate video just on the alchemical process. So when I'm using these cards, people have got an idea because people sort of think, what's alchemy? Isn't it making lead into gold? Isn't it kind of snake oil stuff? Interesting that snake energy's coming. Oh, and we've got a big red snake. A big red snake and a white rose. Um, yeah, so this has got really beautiful energy. This is a lovely energy. Okay, so what she's saying to me, she's drawing my attention to this card because this is about union, this card. This is a really beautiful card. So she's saying that your energy and the James Dean energy are both stable, strong energies. And so that cat energy can't really interfere. But when you move into the vinegar vibration, which is the kind of the bitter taste, the kind of it's saying the fear of poison. But I think because your vinegar isn't poisonous, it's not venomous, that's for sure. So it's okay, it says the difference between poison and venom. So poison is it bites in a particular place and it's you get poisoned. If it's venom, it bites in a particular place and it goes into your bloodstream. So it's much worse to be venomous because it once it's in your bloodstream, it can kill you very quickly. Whereas poison is only in a specific location. It can still kill you, but we're talking about bites. Um, so yes, vinegar is poisonous nor venomous, neither poisonous nor venomous. Yeah. So you feel a little bit impotent compared to this snake, cat, fox energy, but you're not because by trying to fight venom with vinegar, it's not going to work. So don't use vinegar, as in don't be in the place of your impotence. Or it says don't use the word impotence because why? It said something about masculinity, but I don't need to repeat that. Um, yes, because women, I meant metaphorically impotent. I didn't mean literally impotent. So if you're a woman, you don't need to worry about that. And if you're a man, you don't need to worry about that. But when I said impotent, again, this Mercury retrograde, it's oh, God. Bottom of the deck is fog. Oh my goodness. Wow. Yes. So fog, not surprisingly, you probably know what fog means. You don't need a reader to tell you that. Fog means there's a lot of confusion, but it's saying the confusion isn't real. Actually, you see the situation sharp as vinegar, but you're getting in a fog about it. But you do not need to be in the fog. I'm getting in the fog because I'm trying to get out these words through this haze. But she's like, you see it sharp as vinegar, but don't be in the, because you're trying to counteract this fog with the alchemical vinegar. Well, A, they're different elements. This is a liquid and this is a gas. Or, it's not a gas, but it is a gas. Oh, um, it's saying smoke. It's saying smoke. I mean, I've got smoke from the incense, but it's somebody smoking. I feel like the masculine energy is smoking, but no, it says not literally. Maybe he's smoking hot. I don't know. No, it's because you're feeling bitter or sour. Is vinegar bitter or sour? I don't know. Anyway, it's saying you're in a fog because his energy isn't giving you the normal reassurance of this strong relationship. This basically is a union of the red and white, and those are two alchemical colors. So wherever you get red, white, or black in harmonious union, you've got the alchemical process, which is good. So this card is the two of you, which is incredibly stable, incredibly it's good. And I think that's why you're feeling anxious. And so the fog, you're feeling the fog coming from him because he's not giving you the usual clarity. But I feel, do you know what I feel? What's going through is he's not being wicked, but I think there's a teeny bit. The idea of his energy is it's very stable. He's not falling for the cat, but he's not interested in the energy, not interested in her. I'm going to say her, but he's not interested in her, but he's interested in observing the game or the MO, he's interested kind of going, this is an interesting, and kind of so are you going, wow, she's got game, or the cat, snake, fox energy. She's got game. Like she knows what she's doing. And I think even she's playing with it. I don't know that she really wants to. Either my dog just walked in or something snuffled behind me. And I'm pretty sure my dog didn't walk in. There was an actual snuffling behind me. Wow. My God. When I've been reading lately, it is the energy's just been the other night it was spooky, but luckily it's daytime, so it's not. I'm just gonna check if that's my actual dog. Holy shit, it's not even my dog. Oh my God, I saged. I'm gonna have to get something a bit stronger than sage. Last night I was even burning incense. I'm gonna have to, speaking of incense, I'm gonna have to knock the top off my incense. I'm gonna have to get my friend. I've got a friend, Kat, who checks energy, and she's the one that said that there's energy that there's a cat in here. That was not cat, man. That was snuffling like a dog, like a pig. How is that relevant? Someone here is a pig. It might be you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't mean a pig. I mean you've gone into this kind of snuffly, indignant energy. This kind of because you can't step in because nothing's happened. You're watching her or that dance, and he's allowing you to be in this fog. Not because I think he wants to make you obviously jealous, but I think he's wanting to watch this little game. Um, yeah. So then, underneath it all, Venus is saying, if you draw back your energy, become like Venus herself, embody Venus, like observe from a vantage point, it's saying draw into your beauty, draw into your, it's saying glamour, but I mean, maybe Google a glamour spell on, I mean, if you're into that stuff, on YouTube. Or just make sure you're looking fine. Like make sure that you're, which is funny because I was thinking I need to start making an effort. Such a scrub at my nails. Oh God. Anyway, um, it's saying pay attention to the little things. Like I know I'm not mad for being like, oh, spend hours doing your makeup and all that kind of thing at all. I'm not into that. I'm not into advising people do that. I'm very much into be yourself. I'm not saying don't try and look nice, but she's saying, Venus, the energies that's coming through is saying, pay attention to the little things. And I think that means like, and I don't mean it's not about, it's about for yourself. Like if you're thinking, do you know what? I might like to buy myself an extra little, I don't know, a little treat just for yourself. Not, you don't want to be putting your energy out there. You don't want to be going into your vinegar energy. It's saying, do something lovely for yourself that makes you feel loved or special or beautiful. It's saying an oil. I don't think it means an oil. I think it means like the smell of this rose otto. Oh, it's glorious. So she's saying something that makes you, this is a bit random, but saying something about cacao. So, sorry. Okay, what's that? I don't know. That's something coming from the other energy. It's it's like the Eye of Sauron. It's suddenly gone like that at you, or at kind of okay, this is what it is. So it's saying if you do a few small little things, and it's saying like the taste of cacao and the smell of roses. So they're very subtle, but it's something if that gives you that little bit of extra glow, like you do something that's a treat for yourself, something that makes you feel beautiful within, something is saying something sensual. Okay, what? Oh, she said you'll know what it is. Something that is like how you feel after you've had a cacao, or how you feel when you smell roses. I mean, that's personally for me, that's what I'm into, but it's like something like that that is not obvious. So it's not like go out and have a glow up. It's more like glow up with the things that you like, feed yourself with the things that really make you feel just so good, but on the inside. So as soon as you do, because that feline energy is relying on the external, is relying on the fact that they've got massive fangs and they know I'm so venomous, I could basically kill you like with one bite or one, you know. So if you're standing there having just had a cacao ceremony and smelling of roses, quietly smelling of roses, well, it's saying coming up roses. So you might want to buy yourself some flowers, but it's more than that. It's like coming up roses, as in saying something about. I mean, these are all things that I find beautiful. So what it's saying is what. So it was going to say a rose bath. Um, but whatever that. So for me, like to have a cacao ceremony, to wear rose, buy myself a beautiful bath thing. They're all things that make me feel super great. Like, and you will know the things that make you feel really special, like give you an internal glow up. So it's not a it when she's saying the small things, because I was just going, oh my God, I need to XYZ with my own eyebrows, blah blah blah. It's not about that because that's her energy. That's the external. She's relying on the external facade. So Venus is saying, Ma, that's not what makes beauty. It's that kind of inner glow, the glow of, she's saying the glow of knowing. What does that mean? The glow of knowing. Yeah, it's just, I can only relate it through my senses. So what comes through for me is the smell of real, like a red rose. You know, when you smell, it's like heady, it's so powerfully sensual. So whatever makes you, it might be, I've got citrus coming through, citrus. So if citrus, like a really wonderful, actually I've got here a little, I got sent, anyway, I'm not into grapefruit, but I got sent a grapefruit thing from Trudon, and it smells so good. So it's that it's when something smells so good, it makes you kind of trip. It's like, oh, so good. So it's that energy, like doing something, and you can't, nobody can give you or tell you or how you feel when you smell something so good or when you taste something so good. So it's definitely about something invisible, and no one can take that away from you, and you can't explain it to anyone else. Hence why I'm in fog trying to explain it. But yes, so that's what she's saying. Um, then you won't need to do anything because you will be so glowing and radiant. This is called the sun splendor, this card. You will be so magnificently glowing and splendorous. Splendorous, is that a word? Splendorful? It's not splendorful. Is it splendorous? You'll be so splendorous. I don't even know if that's a word, but whatever it is, this is a Cheshire cat. When I use a word, it means precisely what I mean it to. No more, no less. Yes. So, splendorous. You are going to be so glowingly radiant with this little knowing, that little smile of, I've just had the cacao. And both the energies will be like, what have you done? Like both. So there is no way this other energy will be able to compete with your, I mean, sensuality, just inner satisfaction, but like real deep satisfaction. And it's not external. It's not about them. It's about you. And just standing there with that satisfaction, you're going to be, you're going to blow any other. I mean, you're going to be like the sun rising. See that golden ball rising. Everybody's going to be like, oh. So it's like a glow up through the senses. So, yes, pay attention to everything you do at the moment. And it doesn't have to be big or expensive. It can be literally like um something really, really simple, like some wonderful bread. I know people freak out about carbs, but okay, so yesterday or the day before recently, I mean, I can only relate this through my senses. So I bought this fabulous potato and rosemary bread, and I had it with a French, like a really beautiful French fig jam and like a really good butter. And it was literally just like, oh my goodness, this is heaven. So anything that you think, oh my goodness, this is heaven, do that. It can be anything, anything that makes you go, oh, this is a moment of bliss. Tea is coming through or coffee, like a really, really good coffee. Like go and treat yourself to the best coffee or the best. It doesn't have to be the best. I'm just saying something that makes you go, this is why I'm here. Like this is what being alive is like. Or just tuning in to the what makes you feel. I mean, walking in nature, or just sitting in nature and going, or waterfalls, or something that just makes you just takes your breath away, makes you feel complete and utter awe, so that you're so full of awe, you literally sparkle from the inside. And then no matter what someone does on the external, no matter how much bling they have, or no matter how much makeup they put on, or no matter how much, venom they have, or sexy time, or whatever, no one can compete with that. No one can compete with the perfect moment. And then your male energy, who's actually not that bothered about the other energy anyway, will be like, ah, oh, there's my rose. I am the snake. I am the snake to the rose. It's looking pretty, pretty nice. Anyway, this energy is very, very stable, very much a union card. Yeah. So, I didn't actually tell you what any of those cards were, but I was just reading the energy. So, I don't think I need to necessarily, but yeah. Anyway, that's the energy. I just read the energy, and I hope that makes sense. And it's a nice read, but I can see why you're worried. I can see why you're going. "Ah." So yeah. Okay. Thank you for watching. Bye. Hello and welcome. It's got dark since the last pile, so the lighting's different here, but I guess you can figure that one out for yourself. So today we are looking at Mercury, which is pile 2. Yes. So yes, what scent have I got from Mercury? It's kind of a fairly neutral resinous kind of smell. So I've got some sandalwood incense, and I've got some sort of frankincense kind of those kind of smells, very resinous, and kind of the kind of stuff I usually use as a base. So yes, Palo Santo. I mean, I have smudged Palo Santo, but that kind of very beautiful kind of natural smell. It smells amazing. This is ethically sourced. Yeah, yeah. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. That kind of smell. Um I've also been really called to bergamot. Um which I've been smelling right from the beginning, even though the last pile was Venus. So she wanted rose and um some other kind of quite heady smells. But the whole time, this whole since I started, very much bergamot. So yeah, that's coming through really strongly. Don't know if that helps or if it means anything, but it's I thought I'd mention it. Okay, so right, but Mercury is retrograde at the moment, as I said in the beginning. So we'll see what Mercury's got to say about love. Let's have a little. It's happy for me just to pull the piles. Um, it wants to have something to talk about, which is very unlike Mercury, not to just want to talk. Actually, it's interesting. The last pile, Venus, I was so agitated and so nervous, and all the way through it. And yet, this for this pile, please God, I feel much less. Um, yeah, much less agitated. So was obviously the energy. Now something interesting, which I'll just tell you whilst I shuffle. Please can I have 3 cards for Mercury in love or love reading? These cards wanted to be shuffled and 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 shuffled. So maybe that's a message, or what's coming through as I say that is it's a message about you might be being extra, extra, extra clear about what you're saying because you're aware of Venus retrograde. And so you're aware that you're not wanting to get it wrong, in which case I think that's probably not a bad thing. Please may I have 1 card. Because I'm feeling much more clarity, even though we haven't got any energy through yet, than I had in the last pile. In the last pile, I was literally all over the place, which you're probably saying, aren't you always, Louise? Don't say that. It's not fair. Right. Please may I have 1 card. Please may I have 1 card. Please may I have the first card. Please may I have, oh, there we go. I've got one. The Great Serpent. Oop. The Great Serpent, the Ouroboros. You can say I don't know if you say Ouroboros. Ouroboros is what it is. Okay, second card, please. Mercury, please can we have another card? Second card for our reading on. We just had a whole lot flip. On the top of that is conjunction, or coagulation. Sorry, is it? It's conjunction. Conjunction. Sorry, yes, it is conjunction. We've got the glorious Lemnis Gate there. That's such a beautiful card. I love that card. Okay. Okay, please can we have one more? Please can we have one? Okay, I think Mercury retrograde's kicking in here. Please can we have one more card? One more card, please, Mercury. Oh, we've got one. It's autumn. Okay. And may we have one more card for love reading from Mercury, please. One more card. One more card. Mercury. What do we need to know? Oh, we've got one more. Sorry, I fell on the floor. We have the new pearl. Okay, and bottom of the deck we have the blackening Negredo. I did a read on Negredo the other day. I don't know if you watched it, probably haven't, but if you had, it might be relevant. Yeah, so I'll put those there and have a look at what we have got here. Okay, so let's have a little look at what Mercury has got to say about these cards. What would you like to tell us, Mercury? Okay, it's saying it's showing me the burning embers of the Palo Santo, and it's saying, okay, so I feel like there's been an ending. It's showing me the autumn card, and it says the burning the leaves. It's showing me like the at the end of autumn where the leaves are all dry and having bonfires, not big bonfires. So it's saying you haven't burnt your bridges. It's just an end of a cycle. The Ouroboros, the cycles, these great. So it's saying as part of perhaps you've had several several kind of mini endings or several cycles in your relationship, or maybe you've broken up, come back together, maybe it's been an ongoing thing, because I feel like this is the kind of card of the great work. This is the kind of universal cycles. Like we're not just talking months, we're talking generations, years, right down to kind of the milliseconds of our cells vibrating within us. So it's all there is. It's the great alchemical work, the great cycle of life, all cycles it encompasses. So it's saying this is a little cycle within a greater cycle, but Mercury's sitting on the desk. He's going, I want to talk, I want to talk. So I'm going to pick Mercury up. That has never happened, literally. Okay, Mercury, you can talk. Let's hear what you've got to say. Maybe I'm using the wrong words. Okay, yeah, it's coming really fast. Okay, so oh, it's coming in so fast. Let me have a little sip of my tea. Hold on. Mm. Whoa. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Where's Mercury? Mercury's in Aries. I've got my Mercury in Aries. So go, 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 get it out. Okay. Um, let me just, I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna have to breathe a bit. Shake it out, shake it out. Okay, right. Let's go back in. Mercury, gentle with me. Feet on the ground. Grounding mats, by the way, everyone. Grounding mats this year. It's saying, take a breath, breathe. I think that's a message for you. Breathe, breathe. There's a lot of being up in your head, says Mercury. There's a lot of I'm really being drawn to the smoke here on the incense. It's saying it's not saying hotter-headed, but it's saying there's this like Aries. Aries is can be hot-headed, but it's saying so there might have actually been a massive row because there's I saw that fire and now I'm seeing this sort of smoldering. It's saying smoldering. They're smoldering the ashes still. So whatever it is, or maybe that's you smoldering, being like in the background. So maybe there wasn't an argument, but maybe you're feeling like there's it says sparks. What? Yeah, I'm seeing sparks, embers, glowing, not as big as coals. It's more like yeah, so say you've just, I don't know, done a very small pile like that big of leaves and you've burnt them, but like it hasn't been a raging fire, it's just been a kind of little um kind of, a couple of days in autumn worth of leaves. So it's saying a couple of days in autumn. That seems to be important, those words, a couple of days in autumn. So again, it's giving me the opposite end of that. So there might have been a couple of days in autumn, sort of last year. It's showing me sort of pumpkins. So kind of towards the end, sort of end of October. When's Halloween? Yeah, 31st. So around the 31st, around Halloween, there might have been something really hot, but like in a good way, like some really like great sort of passionate sparks. Um, yeah, that's quite succinct. It says so random. That's as solid as a pumpkin. Thanks, Mercury. As solid as a pumpkin. So, yeah, so round there, things you might have really felt like this is happening. There's something going on here. This is real. This is as solid as a pumpkin. I can hold it in my hands. It's real. It's good. It's nutritious. It's hearty. You know that lovely, excuse my bra, that lovely like pumpkin soup and like it re or root vegetables, all those kind of real hearty. It feels substantial and it feels delicious and it feels warming. So there's that energy of something real. So maybe around that time your relationship was really, it's saying get your teeth into it, like something you could really bite hold of, but in this really nurturing, comforting way. Um, yeah. And then, but now we're coming into spring, which has got a completely different energy. It's showing me these kind of sparks and embers. Uh, So, okay, what's coming through? Even though I'm holding it in my hand, it's coming through really fast. I wanted to say she, although Mercury's not it's a male god. So why did I say she? Okay, I'll tell you about that in a second. Oh, I've lost my train of thought. Sorry, it's all coming in so fast. Okay, so maybe what's happening is the energy of autumn, that cozy, warm, I'm seeing sort of jumpers and cuddling up and fire and this incredibly romantic energy, but in a substantial way. So the kind of like going away for the weekend when it's getting chilly and walking with it, you'll kind of see your breath. And actually, as that smoke is coming from the incense, it's like I can see kind of running in from the house after being on a walk and this kind of cold breath and laughing. So something very that felt like it was going to stand the test of time, stand the cycles of time, like it was going to be an eternity. It was going to I'm hearing endure the winter, as in it felt like something significant. And again, this raging fire, this raging fire of love. And it's saying the raging fire of communication. So again, I'm seeing this image of being, but not literally, I'm talking metaphorically, this image of the warmth of the fire. And you know, when you go away and you feel like you're all cozied up, the two of you, and it's very much a chatting for hours, that kind of really talking and really connecting in your own little space, like just the two of you. It doesn't have, you don't have to live together, but that like it's just us against the world, but not even against the world, just like it's us in our little bubble and you're completely oblivious to anything else. It's just the two of you chatting into the night, all that kind of energy. Um, so yeah, so that was the kind of the warmth of that. And now we're coming into spring. What's it got to say? So two things. One is it's the end of a cycle, as in perhaps you've endured the winter. And when I say endured, I maybe it means endured in a literal sense, but yeah, it's saying endured. So maybe let's have a look. It's saying you have endured a cold season, but you don't believe in the warmth. So maybe that I mean that should probably be self-explanatory that you maybe something's happened and either things have gone cold, as in during the winter season, but it doesn't have to be a literal season, but maybe you feel like things have gone cold and that lovely cozy kind of autumnal feeling that you thought would be part of the next cycle has maybe not, it's just gone cold. It hasn't stayed cozy. Now, the next card's coming in. So it's saying that the cycle you're in is causing a lot of agitation. So this card is about the pearl. Is it the great pearl, the new pearl? So obviously pearls are formed by irritation in the oyster. So although it's incredibly beautiful at the end of the cycle, the Ouroboros. I say Ouroboros. I'm going to say Ouroboros. Apparently, things that are translated from Greek and in yes, because there's different letters that we don't necessarily have in English, there's different ways of pronouncing them, and none of them are necessarily wrong. So I'm going to go with that. For example, I'm not going to go down that avenue. We could, but I'm not going to. See that? Mercury. See how I reined it in? Mercury retrograde. Yes. So the the irritation in this cycle, or maybe the irritation from this cycle, but it is the greater cycle of this irritation which creates the pearl. And so it might be that even though you're incredibly irritated or things don't feel like they're moving forward, it's part of a cycle. And the oyster needs to go through a hell of a long cycle in order to produce the pearl. So there's something very much about cycles and seasons and waiting, as in enduring this. What Mercury's saying is it's a momentary. When I say momentary, as in the scale of a lifetime, it is momentary, as in like it might be. I mean, I don't know how long. It might be a month. It might be a week. It might be a year. It might be a season. But it's necessary as part of the. It's saying death cycle, um, as in every cycle there must be. a winter, there must be a death, there must be a rebirth, there must be an aging, there must be a, but that isn't necessarily bad because um the autumn phase is a beautiful phase, and people go, oh, but it's coming up to winter. Well, yes, but it's also nurturing the soil for the next spring, for the next season. Imagine we didn't have the autumn, the leaves and turning into the mulch and feeding the soil. We wouldn't have a spring. We wouldn't have the same kind of bounty of spring. So every phase is incredibly necessary. Like every bit of irritation, you wouldn't have a pearl. So it's very much talking about these huge cycles, and that this is just another phase in your relationship. So you might feel like, oh my goodness, it's a bonfire, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not a bonfire. It's a very small little day's worth of rakings, or from the garden, or if you're lucky enough to have a garden big enough to rake leaves, then and trees big enough in the garden, how very fortunate you are. But yes, it's saying depends where you live, I guess. If you live in a big city, that would be a great luxury. So let's get back to Mercury. Mercury's the messenger. It's very fast. It's saying look for the pal. Yeah, it's got gold, a little gold. Oh, it's saying look for the pal, but it's like you, Louise, look for the pal. Okay. So on the card, you see there's a little, it's not a pearl, but it's a little golden ball. Oh, there's golden balls on all of them. Okay. Slow on the uptake, eh? So there's golden balls there. I mean, maybe if it's a male energy, there might literally be golden balls. Um, uh, as in David Beckham, his wife used to call him golden balls because he was a footballer. That might be obvious to some people, it might not. It might not be relevant to anybody, but yes, that was my rude attempt at a joke about, see, why bother, eh? Okay, so this doesn't have a golden ball. It does have a golden triangle. So that is the symbol of Earth, isn't it? Well, the downward pointing could be Earth or water, but we don't know because there is a circle. Yes, actually, no, there's not a line through it. So I don't know. Look for the pearls. Okay, so I've seen all those pearls. You might know what that means. It might mean something to you. It's saying, yeah, so when it says look for the pearls, it means look for the moments of beauty, or like these golden moments, which will be. So now it's showing me a pile of ash. The darkening. Okay. We've got here the Negredo. So that is when everything is reduced to ash. So yes, so the burning of the leaves. The Negredo is when the alchemical process has been reduced to its so say for example, whatever state it's been in, it is reduced. So ash is very potent from an alchemical point of view because it has been moved from one state into another, and it's waiting for the next transformation. So, yes, from the ash, it's saying look for the pearls. So apparently, it's showing me this kind of ash, which is a potent state, like the autumn leaves, even though they seem like they're dead. They are, in fact, a potent state of transformation, and they are part of a cycle. So it's saying this might seem like a dark time, um, but it's part of a greater. So it's like providing, well, grist for the mill. It's providing grit, but also the overall energy is it is it is preparing you. It's a state. So say you've had an argument, or it feels like a kind of, maybe no, there's no death, but it feels like a a period of maybe sadness, but actually the way you transform, work through this period is going to be, you're making the what do you call it, the base, the kind of I can't think of the word. Mercury, give me the word. Where's Mercury? It says giving you the fortitude. If you can endure this period, it's giving you the fortitude for a greater cycle. So, whatever you're going through needs, not only does it need to be going through, it's going to be proof of what you can endure for the future. As in, like, say you've gone through your first argument or your first difficulty, this is preparing you for, okay, I see how the other person behaves in this situation. I know that they can endure, um, they can make a pearl out of something. We can become closer together. We can become more fortified. Because, when you see somebody in a period of stress, you see, when the chips are down, you see someone's actual grit. You see what they're made of. You see how they react under stress, and if you're with someone and you're like, they can handle a huge amount of stress, and if, I mean, I'm throwing this out there, it might not be relevant, but if you're going to have a baby, you need to know, if you want to be with someone long term, and you want to have children together, you need to know that someone's not going to leave when, if you're a woman, for example, when you're pregnant and you're looking wretched and you're exhausted and you're puking and you're up all night and they're up all night with the baby. You've got to know that they've got your back, that they're there for you. And if you're a man, equally, you need to know that your wife's not going to, or your partner's not going to flake out, um, whilst you're enduring that process of, well, death. And then, so this period could be a phase of death in order for there to be a literal birth, as in, um, this is a kind of, and I this doesn't need to be overt, but a kind of a test of your metal. So yes, and Mercury is ruled by Quicksilver, Mercury, the element Mercury. So it's saying before now you've only seen the Quicksilver, as in you've only seen the element in movement, in a process where it needs to be seen, or both of you need to, one of you needs to see the other person in a state of solidity, and solidity under pressure. So, yes, it might feel like a dark time, but it's not. It's part of a very, very, very overall important cycle that you have to go through to provide the nourishment for the future. So how you handle this time is incredibly pivotal. But it does not feel to me, obviously it will depend on your situation, but it doesn't feel to me like, feels to me like this is an important, and also transformation. I mean, we've got transformation here. Um, Yes. Oh, and also here. Oh, all of the cards are about transformation. They're all about phases, aren't they? So yes, that's some really good energy, because it feels like this is an important, it just feels like, I don't know, kind of, it's a weird word, compost. It's like so full of nutrients. It's so full of, like, if you've got a really rich compost, imagine you've been actually conscious. Oh, this is coming through as well. Sorry, I feel like burping. Excuse me, but I used to think that was absolutely horrifying. I used to actually freak out. Whereas now I'm like, do you know what? That's energy moving. And it's a really good sign. It's like a confirmation from your body going, oh yeah, you're onto something. So having worked with energy for a fair while now, I think burps are great. They're probably not very polite, but yeah, if you're working with energy, then it's good. So there was something else I was going to say. Very briefly, it came through a kind of shadow of somebody else, but that moved on so fast. If there's a shadow of somebody else, it's not relevant. So you might feel you're in the darkest time. It's the autumn of your relationship. The leaves are on fire, or they've mulched down. Everything's dead. It's not. And if there's a shadow of someone else, that's literally all they are. They're a shadow. They're irrelevant. They're not worth spending your energy on. I'm seeing a green-eyed monster, that green circle there. It's like, don't feel jealous. There's another green ball here. I'm being drawn to the green balls. Okay, I'm going to ask. Ouroboros. What is the green ball? Okay, yeah. It's saying it's a little, I'm seeing it in the stomach. Um, okay. So perhaps there's a ball of jealousy because this has come sort of, it feels like it's come to an end, but it hasn't. Um, he's sitting on a little black ball as well. Maybe you feel like you've been blackballed, and maybe, I mean, it might even be as big as someone going out with somebody else and you being like, oh my goodness, it's so done and done. And so the jealousy has formed itself into a tight little ball, and you feel like it's a pure jealousy. You see that how tight that green ball is in the stomach of the Ouroboros. And in the center of that card, you feel like it's a gut feeling. It's actually not. It's like a shadow of energy or a shadow of, let me talk to this. It says you're digesting it. Yeah. Okay. So it says it's a bitter pill to swallow, which, yeah, if you're going through this energy and you're in it, it's going to feel like a bitter pill. It's going to feel like everything's been reduced to ash. It's going to feel like it's the end of the world. It's going to feel like, the leaves have all fallen off the tree and you've just burnt them. But in actual fact, it's just digesting it. It says it has to move through. Okay, again, like this pearl, it has to be there has to be a resistance, a grit, there has to be a digestion of this phase. So if you're feeling jealous, it's literally just something moving through. It's being digested, but it's worth sitting with this energy and really taking a moment, just like autumn is a pause before winter, and really going, this is weird. It just came through and it said, enjoy the phase. So just like the images that I got first of the autumn together, it's saying this hiatus is supposed to be enjoyed because it gives you a time, like Mercury retrograde, the overarching cycle that we're in is a time to go inwards. It's a time to reflect on on the state, this state of ash. It's like, okay, this feels like ash at the moment. How do I want to rebuild myself? Mercury retrograde. How do I want to move forward? How do I want to be the phoenix that rises? How do I want my spring next year? The things that I'm preparing long term, the bigger cycles. How do I want to how do I want to move forward? How do I want this huge cycle to look? Because now I have the compost that's creating the next phase. And do it mindfully. And it's saying sit. I mean, you look at that card and you don't think, wow, that's a groovy place to be. You don't go, wow, I'm really looking forward to that. But in actual fact, you've got this serpent there as well. This huge serpent is part of an enormous cycle. And in alchemy, these serpents are incredibly important because they're life, they're the kundalini, or they're the rising of the energy taking form. So yeah, it's really overall going, really, really go inwards, like the Mercury retrograde. Go inwards and ponder, contemplate how great it is to be in a hiatus, a kind of a pause, and take a breath. And like the pumpkin that's full of nutrients, and like the ash that's full of nutrients, it's full of potential, it's ready for the next transformation. So enjoy it and ponder it and really feel sure of yourself, really feel like, I know that this phase is part of a greater cycle. And what would I like that cycle to be? And who am I to where am within myself? Like, I'm going to use this as an example, and I don't want it to trigger anyone, but so say you are with somebody that you want to be with, and you're thinking, oh, long term, we might get together and have a family. what is my behavior showing to the other person about how I'm going to be as a mother or father or parent? Am I showing up in the way that I want to be seen in a year's time? And also, not just how you want the other person to perceive you, but how do you want to see yourself? Like, long term, if you were to get back with this person, or maybe you haven't broken up, or like, how would I like to be seen big picture? Big picture, how am I behaving right now? Mercury retrograde going inwards, like going, what am I doing? What am I saying? When the chips are down, who do I want to be? What's my grit? Where's that card? What's my grit? Is this the kind of grit that's going to make a pearl, or is this the kind of grit that's going to just stay burnt? Or is it going to rise from the ashes like the phoenix? Yeah, and is this phase nurturing the soil for the spring? Or is it just falling off the tree and be like, oh, they're all dead? It's like, what's the next phase? There's always a next phase. There is always a next phase. Unless you actually are dead, in which case you wouldn't be watching this reading. Or you might be watching from above. In which case, hello. Sorry, was that a bit mental? No, it wasn't. Yeah, so I actually think that was a really lovely, really nice um energy, really positive and solid like the pumpkin. Yeah, so thank you for letting me read that. That just was really nice energy to be in, and I'm really excited for your journey. So yes, thank you for watching. Bye. So we have pile three, which is Neptune. I can feel the Neptunian energy coming in already. I hope this doesn't throw me off. As far as scent, I had to spray, or I got a real urge to spray my kind of this is a protection one that I make them up myself, but and I was like, oh, I don't feel the need, but it was more about the spray, so more about, of course, I realized it was liquid rather than air. I don't have one of these, but I'm getting the sense that I'd like something like lotusy, some sort of very, very light, well, watery smell, but yes, like a very fine floral, like a kind of lotus or something. Um, yes, and again, I was about to say it's nebulous. Of course, it's Neptune, but a very unusual, fine smell is what's coming through. I can't quite catch it, but it's a very fine. Do you know what? It's like a kind of air smell. I know air doesn't smell like anyway, I don't know. It's a very fine, like lotus, it has the faintest smell. Like Japanese incenses. Well, I don't know if you do know that, but like Japanese incenses tend to be very refined and fine smells. I prefer a kind of something with a bit of kick, but I do have Japanese incenses. They are not with me at the moment there. But yes, I do. So that kind of these very watery, like they do actually smell like the smell of water. I've got one which is beautiful, which is not, yeah, the Japanese are so elegant, aren't they? Elegant is even too strong a word, but those kind of fine smells. Okay, so there was something I was going to say, but I've lost it because I'm in a Neptunian fog. Okay, so let's talk to Neptune. About love. What do I need to know about this love situation? Please, Neptune. Yeah. Do you know what? All of them, it's been hilarious because normally I get quite a lot of information from the card itself. All of them have pretty much been like, well, we need some cards to talk to you because we can't just and it's funny, I haven't done okay, there's the first one. It's the lightning, which is albedo in Latin, which is kind of normally what the alchemical language is, but that's in Greek. I'm sure Kim Krans knows what she's doing. I'm not suggesting for a moment, but it's probably just what anyway, so I'm going to call it albedo because that's how I know it. Please may I have another card, Neptune. Really feel like I'm swimming. I mean, in my head. Uh, yeah, the Neptunian energy at the moment is strong, 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 strong. I'm seeing water lilies. That didn't come out, so I'm not going to take it. O'Donnell, that kind of very, very faint watery color. I keep saying, why have I got so much water energy? Because Neptune is in its home sign of the 12th house in Pisces. Its home sign. Okay, we've got two come out. We've got a few there. So I'm going to take Conjunction, one of my favorite cards in this deck. And I'm going to look at all of these just in case they're relevant to you. But we've got Chaos, which is what it says on the 10. We've got the Sun, which is very strong golden energy, sun energy. If you work with your planets, it's very positive, very dominant, masculine. Yeah, if you think of the sun god Ra, all those kind of energies. Uranus is kind of like the Tower card. It's the trickster. Well, Mercury is officially the trickster, but kind of it's similar to chaos actually, but it's not necessarily bad. It's more unexpected. Like if you want to change things up, you use Uranus energy. It's like, yeah, let's get the party started. So it can be, let's get the party started, or it can be like, let's get the party started like now. I've got a party accidentally starting in my house, or I've just come home and my kids have had a party, or so it's that kind of you don't quite know what the energy is going to do. Then we have Sparks of Light, Scintillate. That's about kind of like lemonade in your mouth, the energy of lemonade in your mouth. And then we have the Uncreated, again, kind of what it says on the tin. What do you want to create? Anything is possible. So that's a very brief, if any of those cards are relevant. Yeah, that's the energy coming through. I'm not going to take any of them because I didn't feel like, maybe I felt like chaos, but then that's probably because it was the overarching theme of what that little bundle said. Oh, I've got two and I'm going to take them. Okay. So bottom of the deck is silver. Interesting, we had the sun because the sun rules gold and silver is kind of, well, I'll go into it in a minute. Okay. Interesting, we've got two alchemical cards. So the lightning and the yellowing. So albedo. And the yellowing isn't an actual phase, it's when something's gone wrong during the process. So I don't want to scare you. Well, I'll read the cards in a second. I'll talk to Neptune. Yes, so it's not one of the healthy phases, but it is part of the alchemical process. So what's coming through immediately is there's a process that's happening at the moment. Something is in process, and maybe you're not sure about what's happening. Maybe there's something off, which is probably why you've come to a tarot reading. And if you've come for me to tell you everything's groovy, you're at the wrong place because I'm not that kind of reader. I'm not going to go, you've met your twin flame and you're going to get married because I don't know that. So what's coming through is overwhelm. And so it's saying, take a breath. So there's a couple of things. Well, there's quite a lot coming through, which is overwhelming. And part of the reason why it's overwhelming is because it's difficult to know which bit is real. So it's like trying to drive in a very, very thick fog. So you know where you're going, but the light is bouncing off the fog. If ever you've driven in a really, really, really thick fog, it bounces straight off the fog in front of you. So you know you're going forward, but you can't really see the way. But we're assuming that you know the way. So say you're driving not a very far distance. So say maybe you're driving, I don't know, somewhere that you've been a thousand times, and you know where you're going. So even I can't even get from one phase to the next. It's kind of what this read is about. But Neptune. So one of the things that's happening with Neptune at the moment is it's in its final degree. Now, the final degree, 29 degrees of Pisces, its home sign, it can mean multiple things, which I think is one of the things that's coming through at the moment is and it rules illusion and delusion Um, yeah, it's really difficult to kind of translate it. And also the 12th house is well, for a start, it's the the end of the journey. So it's not just the end of a journey, it's the end of the journey of the zodiac. So it's about a new beginning. So I'm trying to explain this energy before I go into a specific because I feel like you've come to this reading already kind of knowing where you're going, but you just want some clarification because you can't see you can't see the next phase. So I'm just trying to explain the energy of what it is that you're of what you're dealing with. So this opening part of any tarot reading should be about clarifying to make sure you've got the right energy. So if you're super sure of what's going on, this is not your pile because the energy is very, very it's okay. So it's complex, but it's really like it can actually mean multiple things. So it's not that like have they been unfaithful, yes or no. It's that there are multiple situations happening simultaneously. So it's not a yes or no pile at all. It's like, so the 29th degree can be, I mean, it's known as the degree of fate, it's known as the degree of destiny, which is kind of, well, they're no, actually, they're quite different. Um, so to me, I'll just explain this because it might be relevant. I don't know if it is or it's not, but it's telling me to explain it. So fate is I'm white female born, you know, in an English speaking country. Um, you know, I'm from a certain type of family. I'm have a certain type of, you know, colored hair, colored eyes. That's my fate. So I was fated to be born in this situation. My destiny is how I use this fated body or self, in inverted commas, to create what I want. So, you know, there's lots of scope within that, you know, realm, if you like. So at the same time, that seems like your fate. Well, that's your fate. And it is. It's set. I have a certain set of DNA. I can't change my DNA, or I wouldn't want to. Let's just say that because we don't want to be messing with, we don't want some Frankenfarmer. But anyway, so the destiny and the fate can be intermingled. This is what Neptune is saying. It's also the point of fame. So if you've got 29 degrees of any planet in your chart, that can be a point of fame. So, and fame can also mean infamy. So you can be famous for being infamous, if that makes sense. So it's saying there are multiple facets of this situation, and to not underestimate that all of those are relevant. Um, And actually, I don't know why this popped into my head, but Freud said a dog can have ticks as well as fleas. So don't dismiss the fact that there might be multiple situations in the one situation. It's not one of those things like, so say your dog has ticks and fleas. It's not about your dog. It's about this and that can be possible. So it's a very Gemini energy, even though Mercury doesn't rule Gemini, but what's in Gemini at the moment? Jupiter. So this Jupiterian expansion. So Jupiter's expanding because that's what it does, but it's also expanding. We're in Mercury retrograde. And so it's expanding that confusion energy because Gemini is automatically yes and. So and I've also noticed my battery's about to die, but so I can talk to you, but I might die at any moment. Well, actually, let's not say that, shall we not? Yes. So there are multiple facets at the same time, more than one of which can be true. Okay. Wow. That's some crazy energy right there. Is there anything else you'd like to say? It says, allow yourself both the illusion and the delusion because they're part of the journey of the 29th degree. So what's the journey of the 29th degree? The wrapping up of a phase and the beginning of a new phase. The ending is also the beginning. It's showing me a symbol. It says the symbol is on the card. It's a symbol of water, which obviously um it says the rays. It's number 9. Okay, that's relevant. So the number 9, it's not the end of the phase because 10 is the end of the phase, but 10 is also 1. So it's the beginning of the new cycle. Have we got new cycles here? Yes. We have the lemniscate, the ultimate endings and beginnings. The ending is the beginning. These all things exist simultaneously. The illusion is also the delusion, but everything is interwoven. And the conjunction, we've got we've got a conjunction between Mercury and Venus in retrograde, both of them. So they have completely different energies. And then Jupiter's in Gemini. So we've just had an eclipse. We're in between eclipses. Um, and Mercury is in Aries, retrograde, and Mercury rules Virgo, which we've just had the eclipse in Virgo. So it's this kind of yes and energy. So yes, they're boosted and they're retrograde. Yes, they're more powerful, but they've gone inwards. So so yes, if you're asking a specific question, all of the aspects are true at the same time. Because this lemniscate is constantly, I mean, the lemniscate is the symbol of eternity. It's all things simultaneously. And even though it's like there's black and white because of the polarities, it's also there is no black and white. Everything's in color and everything's in black and white simultaneously. So, okay, that's what it's saying. What else would you like to say? Yeah, the death and okay. So the yellowing is it's okay. So if something's in the laboratory, the alchemical laboratory, something's yellow, it means something's off. Now, it could be that it's a process within a process. So there's a little kind of side thing that it needs to go through in order to purify. So white is the purification of the alchemical process. So and if the white has gone yellow, it can sometimes mean something's not right, or it can mean the you know when you get this is going to be grim. I'm sorry I have to say it, but you know when you get a cold and things go yellow, it's actually part of the healing process and it's towards the end of the healing process because what it is it's just that means the I'm sorry, is that mucus? It means it's old. It doesn't mean it's infected. It means it's old. So it can be an indication of it getting infected, but it can just be it's been in your body overnight and it's gathered. So it can be an indication of something moving through, but it can also be an indication of something more serious. So it's like pay attention when you see this. But at the other end of the spectrum, where you've got the albedo, it can be because it's a purifying. It can also be like, oh, everything's purified, everything looks great, looks amazing. So the fact we've got these two cards, it's like this can be an illusion in and of itself because it can be like, oh, everything looks perfect. It does look perfect because it's going through the purification, but it doesn't mean it's ended, which is kind of like the very subtle difference, which is very Neptunian, this subtle difference between illusion and delusion, the subtle difference between is it a process of ending and re-beginning or moving through something that looks like it's one thing but is actually something else? Or, and the same with this card, is it a state of purification or is it slightly beyond purification? Because sometimes this card can mean, well, rubedo is the ultimate ending or the fruition of the work, but this is a phase where people can get confused. No, they can have the illusion that purity is perfection or that the perfection is the state of purification is perfection. Does that make sense? So just be super careful that whatever's happening, it is both what it seems, but also not what it seems. So suspend any kind of judgment of what's the word? Absolutes. So something might seem absolute, but it's not. It's a part of a greater process. But equally, be slightly aware that is it a process? Is this part of the process? Or because it can also be about aging or things that are inevitable, as in like we're all going to get older. It's not pretty. It's not fun. If you've got, I'm going to be grim. If you've got yellow snot coming out, it's not pretty, but it's part of a healing, a purification that the body does naturally. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's something grim. The other thing that's just coming to my mind is these are both snakes. Now, in alchemy, snake is not a bad thing. It's actually a really important sort of enormous metaphor. But it could be that you're afraid, like you don't want to look. You kind of go, everything's amazing because you're actually afraid to kind of look and go, I don't want to look at those snakes. They're really scary. Oh God, let them just go away. And yet you don't want to look at the nuances of it's easier to just go, oh, it's all pure, everything's fine. It's all the work is done, as in the great work, the alchemical great work. Yes. So be careful that you're not under the illusion or the delusion, like again, that fine line. Um, yes. So then, okay. So if you look at the lemniscate that's constantly in process, we also have the raven's head. The raven's head is a very clear marker, whether you like it or not, that work has begun. So if you look in the picture, you've got the three alchemical colors, white, black, and red. So it's an inexorability, whether you like it or not, whether you've done it on purpose or you haven't, there's a new beginning. Now, this doesn't need to mean that there was a definitive ending because with this, there is no definitive ending. Even though you've got black and white, there is no black and white. There's a constant process. So there might be a fear that there has been an ending. Whereas in fact, it's just a new phase of something that is always in process. So now this has just struck me as looking like a kind of eye. Um, so you might have seen something. I'm feeling like you might have seen something and you're going, I'm either going to ignore that or it's going to mean something. Don't ignore it, but don't. I mean, the snakes are popping into your mind. You might have seen something that's frightened you. And it both is what it looks like and it's also not at all what it looks like. So I don't know how that would look like in real life. So say you've seen somebody flirting with someone else. I don't think this is really resonating, but I'm going to use it as an example. They both were flirting, but also it doesn't mean anything. So yes, what you saw was real, but it doesn't mean anything. It's just part of like being alive that human beings flirt. And maybe that's the first time you've seen the person flirt with somebody else. And it's the kind of realization, whether you know it or not, that like say you're with somebody really good looking, lucky you, and you're like, oh my goodness, they're going to get a lot of attention. And that both is true, but also you fancy them. So what did you expect? But that doesn't mean you need to be scared of it. And yes, it means it's going to be a bit off and it's going to not be super pleasant, but it's kind of part of the process of being with somebody. I mean, I don't know, whether I mean, obviously you fancy them or you wouldn't want to be with them, but it's like, I've just noticed this is upside down. What does that mean? Maybe nothing might mean something to you. So yes, what's coming through now is the bottom of the deck is silver. So silver is incredibly beautiful. I wear silver because it suits my skin. I've got loads of silver here. I love silver, but silver, no, it's completely wonderful, but it's not gold. And just because like I've got gold as well, actually. It's because it's sun energy. But Uh, silver is always second best in inverted. Well, that's what this card means. It's as wonderful as it is, it has to accept that it's always going to be second place. That does not negate the beauty of silver or the importance of it or all the wonderful qualities it has. Um, so it both is what it is and it also isn't. So it is an incredibly important, valuable, precious metal, but it's not gold and it's never going to be gold. But there's perhaps a desire to both ignore and accept, like, okay, I'm silver, I'm not gold, but equally, I can pretend that silver's like the most amazing thing, which it is, uh, and I'm going to ignore the fact that it's not gold. Whereas in actual fact, there's no need to ignore the fact that it's not gold. But you can willingly be afraid that because it's not gold, it's not good enough. That could be about the way you look. It could be about insecurity. Because I mean, if somebody's silver, like, so for example, I don't know, you thought you were silver and silver's absolutely gorgeous and it's not bronze, although bronze is great as well. I've got copper card here on the top and then I've got tin. How funny. Yeah, so it's not copper and yet copper is absolutely spectacular. It's ruled by Venus. It's glorious. This is one of my favorite cards of all time. But it's not silver. It's not a precious metal, and then I've got tin. Tin's ruled by Jupiter. These two benefic ruled by benefics, you know, and they're absolutely wonderful. The properties of tin are extraordinary. The properties of copper are extraordinary. It's incredibly beautiful, but it's not silver. So it's this kind of notion of what's come through. I can't remember that state of greater than, lesser than. And there's an actual psychological term for that, a complex that people have. Anyway, it's about I'm better than this, but I'm not as good as that. So if there's any of that going on in your head, like, oh, I'm better than copper. I think copper's extraordinarily beautiful, and the way that it turns to verdigris, again, alchemical process, but ruled by Venus. Okay, Venus isn't Zeus or Aphrodite. I always get confused. I always get confused between the Greek and Roman pantheons. I think they're Roman because the planets are called after them. I don't know. Anyway, I should know. Yes, the fact that it turns to verdigris is just extraordinary. But people be like, yeah, but you know what? It's not silver. So this idea of, oh, I'm prettier than her, or better looking than her, but I'm not as good looking as her or him. So again, it's like both and. Yes, you perhaps have some qualities that you might perceive as better than someone else. But as soon as you think you're better than someone else, you are automatically going to be lesser than someone else. Because if you've put yourself in a situation, it could be about money. It could be like, oh, I earn XYZ. Well, you know, even if you're, say, Elon Musk, I personally don't think he's the richest man in the world. I think he's the richest man in the world that's prepared to say that he's the richest man in the world. If you're the richest person in the world, you ain't going to be saying nothing to nobody because you won't care. Anyway, so say you are Elon Musk, there's a possibility that next week you won't be Elon Musk. And when I say Elon Musk, I mean that's a political, whatever you call, but I'm talking about money. Even if you are the richest person in the world, probably you'll watch this, and if you watch it in the future, be like, well, he hasn't been the richest man in the world for ages. There's always going to be a point in which one is no longer what one thought one was. So again, it's this kind of this conjunction of everything is simultaneous and also not at all. So, you know, you will be better than, I mean, better, I don't like the word better, but there will be some things that you do more efficiently than someone else. Or again, it's like yes and. I mean, I don't know how that works as a love reading, but like the very nature of Neptune, where is Neptune? Here, disappeared. What a Neptunian thing to do. I think the case of Neptune is nothing is cut and dried. Nothing is As it seems, nothing is clear, but that's the message. It's like trust in the actually, let's see if we've got an actual it says, I'm not Mercury. Well, I know. So it says, you're not going to get a clear message from me. That's not my job. Okay, can we have a little bit more of a feeling then, perhaps, please, Mercury? It says, I'm going into my fall. I don't know if Aries is Neptune's fall, but I'd have to look that up. I'm going into my fall, but my fall is not a descent. It's only a perception, an external perception of what someone else. Okay, so it's saying what your perception is it yours or has it been projected onto you by society or someone else? Because it doesn't necessarily just because somebody, so say for example, I don't know if it's in detriment or fall in areas, but just because it's not that it feels like it is, it's that somebody has gone, Neptune is doesn't like Aries energy. Well, doesn't it? I mean, it's an energy stream. How do they know? They've decided. Well, who says? Let me just, I mean, I don't think it does, but I'll have to put a little thing along the bottom and see. It says, do your thing and do it well. Go with what you feel, but hang on, there's something else about that. It says, listen with your ears. Listen with your ears. Okay, okay. So what it means is, your intuition, it doesn't have a rudder at the moment because of this 29th degree. Um, your intuition, and because there's so much illusion around this situation, that your intuition is not going to be able to find its way through. So it's saying, my ears have just popped. Sorry. Um, Listen, there's somebody saying something, there's somebody doing something that's going to give you more information than trying to feel into this situation because you can't feel into it because it's all simultaneously. It's the lemniscate, it's everything happening all at once. So you're not going to be able to feel into it because there's too many moving pieces. So it's like listen to what people say. And I feel like, again, with this Neptunian energy, there might be some deceit as well as everything being true at the same time. There's also, I'm feeling, okay, this is coming through really clearly. Somebody is lying, which is Neptunian energy. Somebody is lying, but at the same time, whatever the situation that they're lying about, another part of that is true. It's that dogs can have fleas as well as ticks. So someone could lie about I don't know, something, but the other state of it is true as well. So yes, maybe someone's having an affair. I don't know that. I don't know why that came through, but that doesn't mean they don't love you. Yes, they said, oh, it was just a one night stand, but it was, or I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's like two things can be true at the same time, but because one of them is a lie, or more than one of them is a lie, you then um, don't believe the other things. Whereas there are part of the other things involved in this situation that are true. So, what else would you like to say? Yeah, so it's like you will read between, if you listen to the words, there's something very specific about it's saying music, music. The music will have the answer. So maybe what somebody is listening to, pay attention to what music they're listening to because we tend to resonate with a certain frequency. So if somebody says, oh, I'm just feeling so peaceful today, and then they put on heavy metal, you'd be like, okay, you wouldn't need to be a great intuitive genius to go, I don't feel like you're. Whereas if someone says, oh, I'm feeling so peaceful today, and they listen to something that is peaceful or in resonance with that, it's going to be much more an indicator of where the deception is. So, yeah, something specifically about music. Or it's saying if somebody's suddenly listening to a completely new genre of music, there's some indicators there. Yeah, there's a really big deception, and it says it's happening right under your nose, but it doesn't necessarily mean that whatever thing you're asking about isn't true. Yeah, so what else? It's saying something about fizzy drinks, maybe an addiction to sugar. Maybe because you're upset about whatever this thing is, you're overindulging in some things you shouldn't be. It's saying stimulants, so it could be it's it might be, I mean, typically it would rule alcoholism or drugs or, but it's showing me nothing as serious as that. It might be, so say for example, you've got an addiction to a cola, but you started to put whiskey in it or something. It's saying, or you're addicted to the sugar, or it's saying be careful of that because it's not helpful to you. And it's also saying, whatever this sort of sneaky little addiction is sneaking in, it's saying it's throwing you off where the truth is. It's throwing you. Do you know what? I'm just going to get a clarifier. I don't know why. I just want a. This is the first pile I've done this for, but I just want a clarifier because it's Neptune. Wow, you think you need it? You think I might need a clarifier for Neptune? I hope my battery's not about to die. I bet it dies in the final moment. Okay, let's see. Please can we have one card for Neptune? Oh, okay. Got the moon. Oh my goodness. You're not having any clarity on this situation. Okay. And then we've got Queen of Cups as well. Okay, let me try again. Okay, we've got another one here. It's just reversed. Queen of Swords. Yeah, I'm gonna shuffle. I don't think she needed to come out. Oh, we've just had another one. Okay. King of Cups in reverse. Yeah, it's not gonna clarify. It's saying that's water energy. Feelings in reverse, your feelings. Yeah, it's not don't trust your feelings. It's just there's so much emotion that they're not clear. They're not yeah, so like it's listen to what somebody's saying. You'll be able to read between the lines. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much all I'm getting. I don't know if that's helpful. I'm just going to see if I can have one more card. Okay. Yeah. Four of swords. Wait, patience, patience. Just reflect, be patient, and the answer will come to you. Not through, well, a bit through your intuition, but also right now there's so much happening and there's so much happening all at once that you don't know which bit's your intuition. But if you wait, um, yeah, the bottom of the deck is the Wheel of Fortune. So this situation isn't a bad one. Oh, Ace of Cups in reverse. It's not a bad situation. And oh, I think that's you won't know when it's going to come. You won't know when there's going to be a new beginning, but that in itself is the new beginning. So the fact that you don't know what's going on is a new beginning in itself. So say, for example, I'll just give you, so say, for example, you don't know if someone's been unfaithful. Well, the fact that you're doubting it is an answer in itself. So the fact that you're confused gives you more information than you're prepared to admit. Or the fact if you've got a gut feeling, you don't know if that gut feeling is right, but the fact that you're questioning it is more of a new beginning than you know. So the work, well, this card, the work has already started no matter what. And I think trust in the process. Trust that you don't know. Trust that you don't know if this is a phase. It's not complete. It's not complete, but you just have to move through it. Like Neptune is so whatever's happening right at this moment, just wait it out. Wait it out. And there will be clarity because this the cycle is in motion. And inevitably, Neptune will move into Aries. Whether it's comfortable with it or not, it's going to happen. And you'll have your answer then, but don't bother to try and figure out the answer. Yes, which is obviously why you come to a tarot reading because you've decided that you want an answer on something. That was a very long way around of saying, at the moment there is no answer. Everything exists at the same time. Anyway, I hope that was helpful or gave you some, well, a complete, in a complete lack of clarity, I hope you had some moments of ah, music. Listen to music or listen to music because it helps you relax. Anyway, thank you for watching.